This is the general logic and reasoning that has escaped the average American. This is, but beyond the average American, it's not even their fault. This is the average logic and reasoning that we don't even get from our own government that starts these wars. This is the logic and reasoning that we don't even get from the mainstream media that lies us into these wars, okay? So, of course, the average minion out there, think about it. Everybody's probably been through this. You're going through life, everything's hunky-dory, and you really don't understand how fake television news is, how corrupt television news is, how corrupt the government is, how literally television news, for the most part, I mean, I'll give Fox News credit. I don't think it's totally controlled like it used to be. Do most of the people on there have, let's just say Jewish backgrounds or pro-Israel? Absolutely. But that's not illegal. That's not intentionally trying to lie the American public anything.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
I just want to put a bow on what I'm saying here, because it all ties in together. It's all about striving. It's all about conquering challenges. And people just think because a challenge is so big, they can't do it. No, you can do it. You are a human. You have incredible capabilities, man. And I'm just sitting here thinking about how I can kind of personify this. And I look at myself. You can go look at videos where 4 or 5 years ago, when I first started getting into politics, I was in sports media. I was on sports talk radio, and I had a foot in the door in sports media, and I could have gone down that career path. And I remember sitting in my apartment, 4 or 5 years ago, shooting rinky-dink videos for years. Nobody would watch them. I'd get like 30 views here, 100 views here, maybe max out at 200 views. But I'd keep doing them. I'd keep cranking them out. I'd keep doing it. And people would say, why are you doing this? You're wasting your time. Invest here. Try to sell more ad space on sports talk radio. You got a foot in the door here. You're spending hours doing these videos. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. You'll never make it anywhere. You're wasting your time. And I just kept chugging along. I kept persevering. I kept pushing through. And now here I am sitting in for Alex Jones. There is no obstacle that's too big for you. As long as you continue to fight, as long as you believe in yourself, as long as you have the strength and courage to step out onto the platform, put your neck out there, give it your best, you will have a victory. You will have deliverance. What, you don't think you can make a social media platform because you don't have millions of dollars? I bet you can if you apply yourself. But like this whole notion of human capability has just been beaten out of us. Like, you can't do anything without the government. You can't do anything without a bureaucracy. You can't do anything without help from an establishment. No, you can do everything. So I just want people to understand that, man. You can change the world. You can be anything. It might take a year. It might take 2 years. It might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. But you can have your deliverance. You can have your victory. And that's when you will be high off life, and you won't need some stupid social media account to post Twitter hashtags all day. All right. I'm going to chop that down right there, and I'm going to go back out to the phone lines. Let's go to Jake calling in from Ohio. Go ahead, Jake.
How are you, Owen?
I'm doing fine. In fact, to everybody else that ever calls into the show, I'm doing great. So don't even bother asking me. I'm kicking ass, Jake.
That's great, man. I'm glad to hear it. I'm stoked. Hey, I just had a question for you, Owen. I just wanted you to compare and contrast a little bit of Trump and a little bit of Bush from years ago. I remember Bush always telling us years ago, oh, they hate you because you're freedom. They hate you because of your freedom.
Right,
that's why they hate you.
Yeah, that's why the 9/11 attacks happened, right? That's why Islam hates us, because of our freedoms.
Right. And
but now we want to bring them all in, though. But now we want to bring them all in. We didn't have a debate. We didn't have a moment in time where that narrative changed. It just happened.
Right. And I'm freaking out about this whole thing with the immigrants, and they're trying to bring millions of them in, and like they were saying on the news not too long ago, popping borders at 40,000 a year, or is that a small number? I'm not exactly sure.
50,000 illegals trying to cross the border were apprehended in May. 50,000 in the month of May.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's staggering. Well, I hope you guys keep up the good fight. and we're all with you out here, man.
Well, thank you for the call, Jake. It's just crazy. There's a story right there. Border arrests exceed 50,000 for third month in a row. But I want to go back to the point that Jake made here, because this is actually so crucial. And Trump knows this, folks. Whether he decides to do something about this or not, only time will tell. But what he just said is so key. Let's rewind the clocks back to 2001, 2002. I believe it was what was the official date? See if you guys can find the official date when President George Bush announced the war in Iraq, the war on terror. I remember the press conference. I remember I was at my friend's house, and I remember hearing it on the radio, and it was just like the last caller was saying. Islam hates us. Islam attacked us on 9/11 because they hate our way of life. They want us all to die. And we all bought into it. Of course we did. They just took down the Twin Towers. Okay, it was 2013. Thank you, crew. And then they launched the war in Iraq. No Iraqis involved in the 9/11 attack. Okay, so there's that whole thing. They blame Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was a CIA operative for decades in the Middle East and in Russia. Okay, so then there's that angle. Then you have the magic, 8 passports on a heap of lava, a heap of burning lava that lasted for 2 years. No other incidents ever has there been molten lava at the base of a building that caught fire, a structure fire that lasted for 2 years. Okay, but that's just another side issue. Magically, passports are just on top of the ash heap of Saudi Arabians. So none of it makes sense, but because of the emotional heartstrings, they say, look at what happened at the Twin Towers, look what happened at the Pentagon. Radical Islam attacked us. They hate our way of life. So we went to war with radical Islam and terrorism. Now we flash forward to today, and we never really addressed that. We never really declared victory over that. We never really said that that was no longer an issue. But now all of a sudden we're saying Islam is the religion of peace, and we need to have all of our borders open, and we need to bring in as many people from Muslim countries as possible to be tolerant. And you sit here and you scratch your head and you say, wait a second, we never stopped the war on terror. We never stopped the war on radical Islam. Why all of a sudden are we bringing these people in? And now you want to go really to questionable standards. Think about this. And this is where I think for most people the logic shuts down. If you are from one of these Middle Eastern countries, whether it be Libya, whether it be Iraq, that was destroyed because of America's foreign policy, okay? No matter what religion you are. Let's say you're in Libya, you're in Iraq, your country was destroyed because of Americans' foreign policy. You probably had family members die. Now, you don't think that there might be an element of citizens from those two countries that might want to come here and kill us? But they don't even think about that. It's, okay, let's go bomb the Middle East. Let's go destroy the Middle East. Let's go disrupt the Middle East. It's a war on terror. And then that just kind of sits out there. And then 10 years later, we say, look at all the people in the Middle East. We got to bring them here. We got to bring them all in. We got to be tolerant. We got to bring them all in. So wait, if we were there unjustifiably to begin with, murdering and pillaging and destroying countries, wouldn't they want to come here and kill us? Or if we're at war with Islam that wants to kill us and hates our way of life, and we've been at war for decades, why do we want to bring them in here? This is the general logic and reasoning that has escaped the average American. This is, but beyond the average American, it's not even their fault. This is the average logic and reasoning that we don't even get from our own government that starts these wars. This is the logic and reasoning that we don't even get from the mainstream media that lies us into these wars, okay? So of course, the average minion out there, think about it. Everybody's probably been through this. You're going through life, everything's hunky-dory, and you really don't understand how fake television news is, how corrupt television news is, how corrupt the government is, how literally television news, for the most part, I mean, I'll give Fox News credit. I don't think it's totally controlled like it used to be. Do most of the people on there have, let's just say, Jewish backgrounds or pro-Israel? Absolutely. But that's not illegal. That's not intentionally trying to lie the American public anything. You know, you have people that say that's going on. But again, it's about the general logic and reasoning that television news fails to deliver. But as soon as you realize they were never there to deliver that in the first place, that's when you start to wake up. As soon as you realize the purpose of television news was not to inform you, but to keep you brainwashed and going along with whatever the government wants to do, that's when you start to understand everything. We'll take more of your calls on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
So we have even right there.
What's his name?
This is an emergency transmission from FEMA Region 6 in occupied North America.
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar.
We can't extend this free shipping sale much longer with our best-selling items at InfoWarsStore.com. In fact, we can only run it a few more days. We're also running out of some of our best-selling items like our amazing nootropic, Rainforce. It's $19.95. Leading competitors are $60 and aren't even as good. It's a great deal normally at $39.95. Rainforce, you've never tried it. This is a great opportunity. $19.95. Also, Alpha Power is 50% off. If you don't know what it's done for me and so many others for stamina, focus, libido, it does so many things. X2, even though we're having trouble sourcing the deep earth crystals of the good halogen iodine, I am blowing out the stockpile of it we have, at least for another few days, at 50% off. And then after that, it's going to go back to full price until we secure more of it. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. And thank you all for helping fund the second American global revolution.